Hey guys, welcome back. How are you? I hope you are good and doing well. So, in the last lecture, we talked about the bubble sort in Ruby, like how to implement the bubble sort. Okay, and we also discussed that how we can convert a random logic into our Ruby classes and using methods. Okay, now in this lecture, we will discuss about destructive and non-destructive methods in Ruby. Okay, however, one can think that how it is related to DSA, it is just the normal Ruby methods. Okay, but I'm considering this as a DSA part because we are trying to make algorithm destructive and non-destructive. Okay, so we need to look into this. Okay, so what are the destructive methods? Okay, so the destructive methods are which change the original object. Okay, for example, if you try to sort an array, okay, and then you apply it to the sorting on it, it will not change the array, but it will sort the result. Okay, so it is non-destructive. But if you get the sorted array and if your result also sort the actual array, then it becomes destructive. Okay, now let me show you that how array can be destructive and non-destructive. Okay, I mean a method for sorting can be destructive and non-destructive. Okay, so here you can see that this is our array, for example. Okay, so just copy this array or you can create any random array for yourself. Okay, and let's paste this here. Okay, now if you call sort method of Ruby, which is provided by Ruby, so array dot sort. Okay, so what you can see here that the array has been sorted. Okay, you get the sorted result in the array. Okay, but if you print array, it is still unsorted. That means when you call the sort method, it is sorting the array and give you the sorted result, but it does not change the actual array, okay, on which we call this method. Okay, but if you call array dot sort not, okay, I mean you call this method with exclamation mark, you will get the sorted array. But now if you change your array, you will still get the sorted array. That means your actual array has been modified or actual array has been changed. Okay, so here in this case, this sort with exclamation mark will be a destructive method. Okay, and this is a non-destructive method. Okay, and now let me come to the point that why it is important in our context and why we are discussing it right now. Okay, so let's go to this code snippet. So here you can see what we have. We have a class sorting, and in this class we have a method bubble sort. Okay, and we are passing this array as a list to this bubble sort method, and then we are invoking it onto the object of the sorting class or instance of the sorting class. Okay, but the problem with this that this logic will sort this array, but it will also change the actual array. I mean the supplied array or the array that we are passing to this bubble sort method. Okay, and by default it is being destructive method. Okay, so let me copy everything. Okay, so let's copy to this point and paste it into the Rails console. Okay, now if you see that the array is unsorted, I mean a random array. Okay, now if you call, let's say, result equal to sorting dot bubble sort, result equal to sorting dot bubble sort array. That means we are calling this bubble sort method of this sorting class on this sorting instance, and when we get result, you can see that the result is sorted. Okay, so now you can do result is sorted, but if you print the array, this is also sorted. Okay, that means by default our bubble sort method is sorting the array, which is fine, but it is also changing the actual array. I mean it is updating the actual array and replacing it with the sorted result. Okay, but that should not happen. Why? Because we just trying to sort the array, but we want to keep our actual array as it is, that it was before sorting. Okay, so how you can do that? So the normal approach, one can think that we can use a temporary array. Okay, and then we can sort that temporary array, so it will not change the actual array. For example, the very simple and general approach will be like this. For example, let's say temp list equal to list. Okay, and now one can replace list with temp list everywhere in this logic. Okay, so for example, temp list. Okay, so now what this logic is doing, so here you can see that this bubble sort is accepting a list argument that we are passing from the array. So this is the array. Okay, and our temp list is now list, and then we are assigning the temp list length to the variable, and then in the entire logic we are iterating through the temp list, not the actual list that we pass here. Okay, and we are returning the temp list as a result. Okay, so now, without running or without executing this piece of logic or this piece of code, one can think that this is fine, because this will only change the, it will only return the sorted array, but not change this actual array that we provided here. Okay, I mean, this array will not be changed and we will still get the original result. Okay, but this is not true. Okay, let's try to execute this, and then we will come to the point that why it is not true. Okay, so let's paste it here. Okay, and now let's define our array. So our array is right now this unsorted and random array. Okay, now let's call this thing. Okay, so when you call this thing, you will get the sorted array in the result. Okay, but if you try to print your actual array that you pass to this bubble sort method, you can see that this array is still sorted, and hence the bubble sort method can be considered as the destructive method here. Why? Because it is not only sorting the array that we supply to it, but it is also modifying the actual array that we pass as an argument to this bubble sort method. Okay, but this should not happen. Even you can say that we use the temp list and it is still doing that. So what is happening here, that when you're trying to assign this supplied argumented list to this temp list, it is not assigning it as a duplicate object, it is just referring the same memory location to it. So now both list and temp list are referencing the same memory location. Okay, so whatever changes you will make into the temp list, whether you are sorting it or whether you are removing some element from it or inserting new element into it, it will just change the memory location or whatever the data we have at that memory location. Okay, so both temp list and list will behave the same memory location. That's why when you try to sort your array using this logic, it is also providing the sorting result, sorted array, and it is also modifying the actual array that you passed as an argument. Okay, but to avoid this, what you need to do, you just need to duplicate the array or clone the array. Okay, because when you duplicate it or when you clone it, it will just create a shallow copy of your actual list. Okay, and then it will perform the bubble sort logic on the shallow copied object, and it will not modify your actual array. Okay, so what we can do here, that we can either use dup. Okay, sorry, so here you can see that we applied is list.dup. Okay, now what will happen, that when you execute this, okay, and let's paste it here, and let's do this thing as well. Okay, sorry, up to this point first, paste it, and now if you see that your array is unsorted and random array, and now let's try to copy this logic. Okay, sorry, call this bubble sort method. Okay, so you can see that we have sorted result returned by this bubble sort method, but if you print your array now, you can see that our array is still unsorted. That means it sorted the array through the logic or through the method invocation, but it does not change our actual array or the array that we passed as the argument. Okay, so now you can see that this is now the bubble sort is non-destructive method. Okay, and you can apply the another thing as well, like for example here we applied do, you can do this clone as well. Okay, so let's do everything again. Sorry, yeah, so let's do this at this point. Okay, so now your array is unsorted. Okay, but if you call this sorting dot bubble sort array, you will get the unsorted so sorted result. Okay, returned by the bubble sort method, and if you print your actual array, you can see that it is still not modified, or it is still in the actual form that we uh, at the time of passing off to this method. Okay, so that means now this bubble sort is non-destructive method. Okay, but what you need to do if you want to make it destructive as well, so just like here at the top you can see that we use sort and sort not. Okay, so just to make sure that it will not it can also have a destructive implementation as well, so what you can do is that you can simply replicate this method and add a exclamation mark here. Okay, and here what you can do, that you can avoid this thing and simply replace temp list by the list. Okay, now your bubble sort will be destructive method as well. Okay, now let's try to do the thing is again. So first exit from the console, clear, use the Rails console. Okay, and then copy this class to the console. Okay, so that we can check both this non-destructive and destructive bubble sort methods. Okay, so just copy it and paste it into the console. Okay, and now let's try to do this thing. Okay, so you get the sorted result, but if you print your array, you will still have unsorted result. But if you call this sorting dot bubble sort with exclamation mark, I mean in the non-destructive way, then let's see how what you will get. Okay, let's call this with exclamation mark. If you do this, you still get the sorted result. Okay, but if you print your array now, it becomes sorted as well. Okay, so this is how you can implement destructive and non-destructive method in your program Ruby code. Okay, and with the example of sort and sort to not method, we also see that how Ruby behaves. So Ruby behaves exactly the same. So when you do this array assignment, make sure if you try to perform any logic and you don't want to untouch or don't want to modify your actual argument that you pass to the method, just make sure to duplicate it or clone it. Okay, so we see two methods here, that is dup and clone. Okay, now in the next lecture we will see, even though that dup and clone methods are similar, but there are some significant difference between both. Okay, so in the next lecture we will see the difference between clone and dup methods. Okay, but that's all for this lecture. I hope you liked it. So follow this and try to practice it yourself and try to implement destructive and non-destructive implementation of a method. Okay, and it is related to the bubble sort, that's why I included in the DSA part, and you can apply the same logic in any kind of DSA algorithm implementation. Okay, so thanks for watching this, and we will meet into the next lecture. Till then, tata, goodbye, take care, stay safe.